Oh no, god damn it, it's Thursday. What the fuck we doing up on a Thursday,
Hey,
man?
it's thump him on the head Thursday. That's what we call it. Thump him on
God
the head
damn,
Thursday.
dog. But we're here
Cause that,
nonetheless, man. We're here.
that what
We're
we
here,
about to do.
bro.
Thump y'all on y'all head because we about to hit y'all upside the head with a banger.
Lord.
But what's good, man? What's good? Talk to me.
Man, everything has been good, man. I've been out of the scene for a little bit. As you know, I'm up here in the Northeast, and weather has been like shit. So it's been crazy, but nonetheless, we're here. Happy to be back. Missed everybody. Missed you fellas, man. Missed everybody in the chat, man. So,
I thought I was
uh,
gonna have to send a SWAT team to find your ass.
oh, I'm not hard to find, brother. I'm not hard to find, man. But definitely appreciate everybody that's coming in. Yeah, we just got a quick topic, man. It's a question that I had on Twitter, posted Twitter, and shout out to everybody thus far that's gaining so much traction on that Twitter question, and we'll get to it as the show goes on. We're gonna be here only for about 30 minutes, man. But we got some stuff to talk about, man. Bill Belichick, he's in for his second interview, Smithy. Does that mean is he
Woo!
as good as having one foot in the door already, or what's going on? What's your take on this, right quick, man?
Hey, if that ain't the case, he got one foot in the door and the other on the banana peel, which means he finna slide his ass back out the door. But I'm gonna tell y'all, man. I said it last week,
Mm-hmm.
and I meant it when I saw that news break about the
Mm-hmm.
Falcons possibly Bill Belichick possibly coming here. It just instantly said, "Oh, he already gonna be the coach." Because think about it: if you talk about Bill Belichick without talking about another coach that's nowhere in the picture,
Mm-hmm.
that lets you know somebody leaked that and somebody wanted us to know that
Yep.
Bill Belichick is possibly going to be the coach. And guess
Mm-hmm.
what? The winter meeting just left, I think,
Mm-hmm.
last month.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably talked at the winter meeting about futures, what his plans is. And he probably said, well, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be in New England, but I got a feeling it ain't going to be that much longer.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? Go out, Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick. They have a mutual pardon ways. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? He back on the free agent market.
Yep.
What is the first name pop up on the list? Bill Belichick. They
Mm-hmm.
hadn't talked to any other coach. But
Mm-hmm.
now, after they announced that, 3 days later, they have a whole slew of coaches coming in for
Oof.
interviews. So,
Yeah.
and I'm going to just keep it real with y'all. And I
Mm-hmm.
know it ain't about race, but if you're not going to hire those guys, why even
Yeah.
entertain an interview? I mean, I know the Rooney Rule is there. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
Right.
But let's keep it real. If the Rooney Rule works, you would see more minority coaches.
Mm-hmm.
It'd probably be a 50-50 split, 16 and 16.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that ain't the way it works. So to all the owners out there, y'all got to smarten up because if y'all remember that Super Bowl back in 2006, Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy, that could happen again down the road.
Yeah. There's and to all the names that you have said, man. Mike McDonald, Ari Glenn, soon to be Ben Johnson, the very popular, Bobby Sulik, the very popular name. Um, Anthony Weaver, which it's one of my favorites.
Brian Callahan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brian Callahan. Sure, the cream of the crop right now is Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, man, and the fan base is somewhat split on Belichick, Harbaugh, and respectfully so. With all due respect, I understand perspectives very well. I can see why some people will be, annoyed at Belichick coming, and I can see why people aren't happy for him coming into Atlanta. I was on the fence, and I have had a lot of conversations with our very good friend Uncle Steve and you also, about this situation, man. I have loosened my
Right.
stance a little bit, man. I think that this Falcons team, what they need is structure. We've been
Right.
in the dumps for the past 7 years, point blank period. We've been a terrible team. Sorry, not competitive.
Agreed.
Really,
Agreed.
really not competitive. We haven't been in the playoffs, so you can understand why Arthur Blank wants to bring that sort of stability at that head coaching position. You go out and you try, solicitate a guy like Bill Belichick who comes with a resume, shit, longer than my property. It's very fucking long. So that speaks for
Yeah, but
itself.
it ain't longer than my doctor record, but it's long.
God damn, God bless you, man. But yeah, it's a winning track record. The only problem I have with the Belichick scenario is who your predecessor is going to be for when it's time for you to go ahead and coast. I believe he's what
That's a great question.
13, 13 or 14 wins away from overtaking LSU as number one, right?
13, I think.
13,
15
right?
at the most.
Yeah,
13, 15 at the most.
yeah.
I agree with that. And that's a great question because I think we're going to see him on this staff. I think he's going to bring that guy in with him. And this is probably what him and Arthur Blank have talked about. If you have a plan in place in case something happened to you, I think all of them, they need to get to the point where we need to think about the future. And let's get this out the way. I think they've already thought about the future with the roster they built. You talk about Jesse Bates, you talk about AJ Terrell, you talk about the three guys on offense. I mean, they already have key pieces on both sides of the ball. So
absolutely,
this is the reason why Bill Belichick makes sense. And you talk about structure. This is the reason why I wanted Mike Tomlin in Atlanta because of the structure. The Atlanta Falcons front office needs structure. And I think Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, and Mike Tomlin can bring that. But Mike Tomlin is going to stay in Pittsburgh. He's already said it. So Mike Tomlin is off the table. But Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, those are two guys he wants to win now. Like I said, I get it. He's 81 years old. He wants to see a championship. So, I mean, he's going to do what he's got to do to try to get that championship in his lifetime. And I get it. So I don't have a problem with it. The only problem that I had with Belichick was I just think sometimes, his attitude is just towards the media, and we don't need that.
Right.
But other than that, it's fine.
Here's a couple points that I hope to make, with regards to Belichick and Harbaugh, because those are the two more pressing names, running the Atlanta circle, Atlanta media. And I'm gonna highlight this from Bubblegum. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for joining the stream this evening. He uses the word recycled, right? Okay. That's what Belichick is known for, right? Is recycling old head coaches and always having them under his staff. You talk about Joe Judge, right? He went to New York. It didn't work out. He's back with New England. Josh McDaniels has been an understudy of Belichick for many, many years. As an Indian dating back all the way to 2000. He left for a little bit for Denver. He stood up Indianapolis. He went to Las Vegas. Really didn't work in any of the tenures that he had. Where's he now? Back with New England again. If Belichick is going to close the chapter on the New England Patriots and open a brand new one with Atlanta, you need to surround yourself with better coaching minds and fresher faces. There's some
I can agree with that.
There's some names out there that are going to gain traction as far as the DC role. And I mentioned the DC role only because Ryan Nielsen, once blocked from interviewing other clubs, has now been granted permission to do so. Is Belichick already playing his hand behind the scenes? I don't know. We can speculate all we want, but he has interviewed for the Jacksonville Jaguar DC spot. A name that I can't see coming into Atlanta to replace Ryan Nielsen would be Brian Flores, a guy that had made his name under Belichick. Things went south for him in Miami. He reestablished himself somewhat going to Pittsburgh as their linebacking coach, got hired as the Minnesota DC, really turned that defense around. We saw what he did to that Frisco offense, really, shutting them down completely. And with guys like Ivan Pace Jr., which was one of our favorite players coming out of the draft.
Yeah, that was one of my most requested draft profiles last year.
And you know what I'm saying? And some really decent corners. You had Harrison Smith back there still, roaming the backfield. And up front, Danielle Hunter's really the mainstay that you can say on that defensive front. You bring him to Atlanta, you have some pieces to work with. That's the thing. But the underlying problem to that and having a Belichick scheme is, do we have the right pieces on this Falcons team currently for a Bill Belichick to succeed on with his defense? You got to do you have to do.
That's great. That's a great point. But the only person that I see that he doesn't have right now is a Vince Wilfork type nose tackle. Other than that, he has every other piece that he needs. He has strength at linebacker. He has strength at corner, strength at safety. And he like those small wide receivers. Scotty Billy is here. You look at Drake London. He can get used to him. Kyle Pitts, remember him having grunt in New England. So he has Kyle Pitts here. So he has every piece he needs except for that space-eating nose tackle. Other than that, I think he's fine. Go ahead.
This is where I go different with that. And I'm going to agree to disagree. I think in the secondary, I think we're fine. What's Belichick known for having in the backfield has been great safety play. Rodney Harrison speaks for himself. I hate to say it, but Patrick Chung was a very serviceable safety for New England in the Super Bowl runs. The McCourty brothers were back there roaming. So you come into Atlanta having Jesse Bates, and it's still up for grabs. But DeMarco Hellens is probably going to be named the strong safety going into the 2024 season. But weirder things have happened at the cornerback position. We may agree on this that AJ might not get the bag here in Atlanta. As we all know, Belichick is not the type of coach that hands out lucrative contracts, and AJ right now is due for one. We've seen this man win Super Bowls with the likes of Ellis Hobbs, who's 5 foot nothing.
5'9".
5'9". We have a pair here in Atlanta, and D. Alford and Clark Phillips. So are we comfortable rolling into next season with that? But with all that said, and the pieces surrounding in the secondary, we might be fine. Linebacker is a question now. I think linebacker is highlighted as a question mark more than ever. The only undersized linebacker Belichick to what I know was Teddy Bruschi, who was 6'1". We have a pair right now in Caden Ellis and Nate Landman. The only two linebackers that have desirable measures in a Belichick style defense would be Zach Harrison, who's 6'4", 6'5", and Troy Anderson, who fit the mold at 6'4". That's your size on the outside. Two expendable pieces in the middle. Now we got to talk about the defensive line, which you brought up a name, Vince Wilfork, which we currently do not have, right? So that's a position that
I'm gonna throw out a name right quick.
Sure,
Since you said that, I'm gonna throw out a name that he coached in New England, Christian Barmore. He's going to be a free agent this year. Either he's a free agent or he has 1 year left on his deal. But I can see him making a trade for him, bringing him to Atlanta because he was a backup in New England, which he jumped into the starting lineup.
Sure.
So I can see him in Atlanta. He wouldn't be a Vince Wilfork type guy, but he would be a Grady Jarrett type guy that can push the pocket. Christian Barmore is a guy you can keep your eye on. Keep your eye on. So
I'll raise you another name because I think Barrymore for Gerard Mayo in that defense can become an untouchable piece because he's a young guy, still very controllable contract on hand. Stout in Alabama. He's shown so many flashes now in New England currently. But Devin Gaucho is a nose tackle guy, right? That is in that Belichick scheme. You could be a guy that could entertain Atlanta, pairing him with the likes of Grady or even David Onyemata right now. But even Grady may fall out of favor in this new defensive scheme.
I could see that.
This is hypothetically because we don't know exactly what's going to go on with Ryan Nielsen. We just don't know. But we have to assume of what could potentially happen because 9 out of 10 times when there's a new coach, there's a new scheme. There's new defense players and play callers as such. There's a lot of great names in the draft, but do the Falcons reinvest again in free agency? We spent over $190 million this past year on the defense. Do you see Atlanta doing that again going into this offseason? So he can bring in his personnel.
Yeah, I can see it. Like I said, certain players out there that he's just comfortable with, and you saw it in New England. Some players he bring them back years after they've been there. And I think he needs a Richard Seymour type defensive end. And I don't think Atlanta has that. So defensive end is one of those positions that I think he would definitely go out because he's the defensive guy. And we've talked about having a defensive coordinator to come in with him. I don't think he would need one. I think you promote Jerry Gray up the defensive coordinator. Y'all put y'all two minds together, y'all coaching experience. That helps the defense. Only thing you got to worry about after that is secondary coach, linebacker coach, which I think Frank Bush stays. But yeah, I mean, you have everything else in place. And see, this is why it's a ready-made team for him to come in, coach, and put his imprint on it, which I think he can do, and it won't take long. And I think it just makes too much sense. But Chuck, Justin Fields, it depends on who he brings in to call the plays and offensive coordinator. That's the only way Fields comes to Atlanta. And now that I see Caleb Williams enter the draft, I'm still thinking he's going number 1 to Chicago. Or they would trade out of that pick and he still becomes the number 1 pick for another team. And I've said on record, I would love that to be the Falcons. But can they bring in the right coordinator to call the right players to get the most out of that kid? And the only person that I could see is probably the Eric Bieniemy who worked with a Patrick Mahomes with that similar type skill set.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how it works out. But
Yeah.
whew,
It's and OC, as you put it, the offense, sure, it can use a couple tweaks. Probably a little bit stouter play from the tackle position, presumably the right tackle. As we all know, Caleb McGarry is what he is. Wide receiver too, obviously, definitely needs
yeah,
some
and like I said,
basics.
I can see them retaining Scotty Miller because he's a Belichick type receiver,
Yeah.
small, fast. Go ahead, go
Mhm.
ahead.
No, no, no. I'm sorry. No, it's to your point. Okay, yeah, you can see that, but that begs the question: who's a fit here for Atlanta as OC? That
That's
to
a
me
great.
is what it's the concern. We cannot have Josh McDaniels here in Atlanta as his offense has stifled in the past 3 or 4 years. While a lot of people have said, "Oh, he hasn't really done anything in the past 3 or 4 years." Yeah, you got to look at the coaches that he has surrounded himself with. Also, they don't get no slack for what the output has been. Josh McDaniels' offense really doesn't have a lot of creativity. It really doesn't. It's pretty much cut and dry as it is. The NFL world is so ever evolving that folks catch up to it. Now, Josh has to do his part to get creative, and he hasn't done it. I do
I
not.
can give you a name. I can give you a name right quick.
Sure, please do.
And it goes back to Zach Taylor, Cincinnati. That's Joe Brady. Same type offense.
Joe Brady.
What West Coast style
Mm-hmm.
offense.
Yep.
I think he already has a lot of weapons here. So you
Mm-hmm.
bring in a Joe Brady to call plays, whatever quarterback that you ride with.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've said, Drake
Mm-hmm.
May is my guy. Y'all might
Right.
not like it because he went to North Carolina. Y'all think about Mitch Trubisky, but he has a totally
Yep.
different skill set. You
Yeah.
talk about a guy 6'4", 230 pounds, rocket arm,
Mm-hmm.
Justin Herbert type skill set. I think it makes all the sense. And if somebody asks what kind of quarterback does Belichick like, he
Mm-hmm.
likes pocket passes. You've seen it with
Yeah.
Brady. You've seen it
Yeah.
with Drew Bledsoe.
But Drew
So he likes
Bledsoe.
those tall, rocket arm quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So Drake May is a perfect fit for it now.
You get a little bit of both worlds with that young man and Drake May.
Correct.
Here's a name, and I'm gonna bring it up here, and I'm gonna go a little bit more into the Smitty right quick. Brian Peoples, thank you so much for joining the stream, my brother. Hope all is well
I
with
can
you.
see
Hope
that.
you enjoyed that game yesterday at the Hawks and Magic, my friend. Ken Dorsey is a very intriguing name, but Ken Dorsey has some makeup to do as far as the offensive scheme is considered. He got ousted in Buffalo because of his style of play calling, right? It fell out of favor. That's why we see Joe Brady now just, doing what he's doing with Buffalo, really turned that team around the last 8 or 9 weeks, and really propelled Buffalo to the playoff status that they are at now. I
Right.
can see Ken Dorsey here in Atlanta in some capacity. And what capacity could that be? Finally getting a goddamn quarterback coach. He has had his tutelage and his hand on the development of Josh Allen, who serves to have the same similar skill set as Drake May coming out of this year's draft.
Right.
Rocket passer that, when left alone, a scrambling type when lanes are open. Both gamblers. He's seen it from best of both worlds out of Josh Allen. We can see the very same with Drake May. There's a name that I'm intrigued by, and Smitty, you know where I'm going with this. This is a name that I've been stomping on for the past 2 weeks, and I'm gonna stake the claim that I've been on this shit for that time. Shane Waldron out of Seattle Seahawks. Shane
Seattle, yeah.
Waldron, yep, he has a running track record with the Belichick tree. Let's just put it that way. He was an
Yeah.
operation intern in New England in the early 2000s, worked through the ranks, left New England, went to the Rams, was an understudy to McVay, was bestowed the opportunity to go ahead and call the plays for Seattle, and you can kind of say he could take credit for breathing new life into Geno Smith's career. Geno Smith has
Right.
been killing. He's not the Geno Smith that we saw in New York. No, this is a much new and improved Geno Smith, and that's thanks to Waldron's play
And
calling,
that, and that and that and that's exactly what they need, someone who can develop a quarterback.
develop a
We didn't even have
quarterback.
a quarterback coach last year. I think if Riddick had someone to help him develop, he probably would have did a little bit better. But you bring in a Waldron and just go out and just say get a Russell Wilson for a vet minimum. You got
Yeah,
to make that
yeah,
move, and you can still draft a quarterback to learn up under him. So
yeah,
when it's his time to shine, he'll be caught up with the system, and
yeah.
with a Waldron, I just think it makes so much sense, man.
Yeah, listen, I'm not here to call nobody out because that's not my play. I don't do that. Everybody's entitled to their opinions and perspectives and stuff like that. But I'll be damned if somebody.
But if they gonna be out of pocket, just put them on blast.
No, 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 no.
You got my permission. Put them
Yeah,
on blast.
no. I'm not gonna go, and I appreciate that. With
I mean, it's all about respect, though, man. At the end
it sure is.
I
It
tell you
definitely
that
is.
all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Shane Waldron has been a guy that I've been. Yep, I've been saying for a while, and I'm gonna put my stamping on that. So if that dude has his credit, yep, credit me, goddammit. But yes, I love what he did in the past 2 years. What he has done with the development of Kenneth Walker III, rushed for 947 yards his first year, rushed for 1,000, I believe, this past year, and DK Metcalf.
Right.
Tyler Lockett, being on the sunny side of 30 plus years of age, he's still balling, he's still producing.
Another Belichick type receiver.
So that's for me. That's an intriguing name here for Atlanta if this Bill Belichick hire goes into play. But let's talk about the lure that Belichick would be for these high-profile free agents. I put this question on Twitter, and again, shout out, and I appreciate everybody that took just a minute to even view it, comment on it, and like it. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Bill Belichick being the high-profile coach that he is, will that now in return lure these high-profile free agents or soon-to-be free agents to want to come to Atlanta for a get-right situation? I would say yes.
Go ahead.
I would definitely say yes. I think that Atlanta now becomes the hot destination for free agents, and it just so happens.
I throw a name out there right quick before you get into it. I throw a name out there that I've been throwing out all season long, and that's Chandler Jones. If Chandler Jones can get back into playing shape, he was drafted by the New England Patriots. The Falcons need a pass rusher, so Bill Belichick knows how to coach him. So Chandler Jones is one to keep an eye on this offseason if he can get his mental straight. So we'll see. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I begs the question: Can he lure these guys in? I could definitely think so. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, but his record hasn't been that great, so I don't see that." But yeah, okay, sure, I'll give them that. That's their opinion. That's no problem. But you think of guys that are coming up on some deals, right down the street from me in Philly. Fletcher Cox is a gentleman that still has something left in the tank. That may want to chase that ring and say, shit, for the right price, I'll go to Atlanta. Chris Jones is a pending free agent down in KC. That could be a possibility. And again, these are just names that are coming up in free agency. And we're flirting with the name of coming to Atlanta. We're not speaking this into any sort of existence because I know that folks like to call out for what they are. Oh, they do this, that, and the third. No. That's what content creating is all about. Is entertaining this, making you think, oh shit, what if that does happen? I'll let that be.
I can give you a sleep at wide receiver that he's a second or third, but in a Bill Belichick type offense, I think he would bring Hill and that's Sterling Shepard of the New York Giants. And wide receiver, because like I said, Belichick likes those small guys that run those slant plays, and when you run after the catch, I mean, in a Belichick type offense, it can be deadly. And I'm looking at Bijan Robinson right now in a Bill Belichick type offense. We talk about guys like James White. Bijan Robinson is 3 times more dynamic than that guy, and I could see Bijan turning into a whole superstar in a Bill Belichick type offense. So it's not all bad about Belichick. It's just what he brings to the table. And like you said, with free agents, I could see 2-3 superstars coming down up with what we already have.
You figure this, and you can correlate this. The name Deshaun Watson is not popular in Atlanta by any right? But you had the guys like Jarvis Landry who had some pull at the time, Leonard Fournette who had some pull at the time, ready to risk it all and say, hey, I'm going to take minimum of vet minimum to sign in Atlanta to go ahead and play with my guy. We could very well see that. Belichick is a very well respected coach at the NFL. That he can definitely have.
He loves his power runners.
Yeah, and we got one in Tyler Algier. Gosh darn it. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right,
So, flip and dial. So yes, I think we're in agreement that if Belichick is the name here, I think we can see, some higher profile names wanting to come to Atlanta or try and solicitate a trade to come to Atlanta to get out of whatever contractual means they are with respected teams. It's a
right.
possibility. Yeah, sure. He's 72 years of age. How much does he have left in the tank? I don't know. He could have 2 or 3 years. But this second meeting that he's going to have with the rest of the Falcons brass, the plan has to be laid out. This is what I'm doing. This is how long I see myself here, and this would be my successor or predecessor once I decide to bow out. Could that be a Brian Flores going forward? I'm 100% down with
Right.
that. I can see that happening, and I wouldn't be mad at that. He would have learned from a great one, and hopefully, with a couple tweaks of his own, he can, carve out his own coaching longevity. We just don't know. We just don't know. But this is
It's
another
gonna be
intriguing
interesting to
game.
see.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be. And right now, it's not out of the question to go after another wide receiver. It's not as vomit worthy that might be to some of the listeners or viewers and stuff like that. You got to really ask yourself, what production did we get outside of Drake London in the wide receiver spot? I believe
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts was number 2 on the team with receiving. You know what I mean?
No, it
So
was actually Jonathan Smith.
John Smith, okay, but it came from the tight end position, not your normal
Right.
wide
Right.
receiver. Like since he's built, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd is another name that comes to mind. He might, he's a free agent. He might, who knows? We don't know.
And
It's a
y'all
great
got
point.
to remember, John who played for Bill in New England, so I think
Yeah,
he's a lock to stay. So
could be.
I mean, they still gonna have all the weapons they had last year,
Yep.
plus probably one or two more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
Belichick is going to improve, it's definitely going to be in the trenches.
Yep.
I think Calais Tom comes back for one more year. You go out and find, Christian
Mm.
Barmore or Christian Wilkins from
Mm-hmm.
Miami. He's a free agent this year, so
Mm-hmm.
I mean the choices are endless. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that who is Belichick going to pick up? We know
Right.
he's a master of the salary cap, just like Terry Fontenot. So I mean
Right.
that's a perfect blend if Terry Fontenot stays.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see 2-3 stars there, like I said, man, because it just makes sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like we talk about Deion Sanders possibly being the head coach in Atlanta, the type of hype he would bring. It's the
Yeah.
same with Bill Belichick. He's just
Same.
a little bit older, but
Yeah.
you can't knock 6 Super Bowls. You can't knock it. So
Yeah. No, you can't.
you know,
It's crazy, man. So we'll switch dials a little bit here and go to another guy, Jim Harbaugh, right? So so much was given under the Belichick situation. Jim Harbaugh is another big name. Jim Harbaugh could potentially be another lure too. I think this roster offers the immediate success that it does offer Bill with Bill's tweaks, but keeping the roster
right,
at what we have it right now probably will fit Jim Harbaugh a little bit better. I think we have the size, the size needed to run a Jim Harbaugh style defense.
right.
And he listen, we can't go wrong with either coach. What both coaches have in common is wins. Sure, Belichick has more wins, but hey, you know what? Jim Harbaugh's no slouch neither. He's been successful at every program he's been as well. Oh
But
boy,
what the dynamic is, what the dynamic is at quarterback if we go Jim Harbaugh. If we go Jim
yeah,
Harbaugh and
I'll bring that up in a minute.
Justin Fields is on the market, yeah, we gonna have to, yeah, it's definitely gonna be the pick if Harbaugh is the hire. Because
Yeah,
like I said, when he was in San Francisco, you talk about Alex Smith, you talk about
hmm
Colin Kaepernick. In Stafford, you talk about Andrew Luck, so he's used to those type quarterbacks. So
yep,
that's just something to keep in mind. If we go through the draft, then if Caleb Williams is not available, then you go the other route
hmm
with the other guy, Jay Daniels. So
yeah,
I mean, that's the only difference in the head coaches is their philosophy with the quarterback.
hmm
Belichick like pocket passes, Jim
hmm
Harbaugh likes dual threat. So
yeah,
that
dual
is
threat.
probably the only difference.
Yeah,
But Uncle
and
Steve
we
on it
got
again, man.
let me hold on. Let me bring it up, man. Everybody's favorite uncle. You already know, man. Uncle Steve's Lounge, man. Another great Falcon content creator. Please follow him on YouTube, Uncle Steve's Lounge, as is shown there. Hit him with that like, subscribe, and share his content, please, man. Get his name out there into the YouTube universe, as Smitty would say. But he says, sending a deposit for my brother Berto. future therapy session as he looks at you all in the chat with a straight face and pretend he's okay with the hire. Pray for him, Smitty. I had a candid conversation earlier today with my uncle, and I said, Unc, I have come to grips that he may be my savior, and I accepted the Lord to be my savior, but I'm accepting Belichick now more than ever to be the possible next head coach for these Atlanta Falcons.
Thank you
And
for that. Now I go buy
yeah,
me some
thank you so much,
California
man.
rolls.
California Rose. God damn. But thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. But yeah, man, I had my reservations in the beginning. I did have some concern with Belichick coming in, but sometimes you just gotta just pipe down a little bit, calm down, and really do your research and understand a little bit better. And it helps to have great minds.
And just like me, and you can vouch for me, I try to find a positive in everything. So
try to, man.
I mean, even though I say what I say, with my videos, I still try to find a positive in everything because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to support the brand and the logo, not the players. Just keep it real.
Yeah,
the brand
just
and the
keep it
logo.
real.
That's what's most important.
100%, brother. 100%, man. But I think you know what, Smitty, before we get into that one, I think we have a couple other supers here, man. Boom. Jamal Grant, thank you so much for the $5 donation. We definitely truly appreciate it. He says Bates, AJ Grady, and a Belichick scheme would be fire. And yeah, I could definitely agree. It would be, but contractual differences may be the result that we don't see an AJ or Grady going for. Possibility. One thing
you see he traded Stephon Gilmore for a 5th round pick, so AJ not safe. That's all I'm gonna tell y'all.
He let
I'm
Chandler
not,
Jones
like I said,
walk.
I'm not being mean, and I don't want AJ to go nowhere, but I'm keeping it real with y'all. We know Bill Belichick, it comes to that salary cap, he will kick you out just like that gift we put up on that screen. That is Bill Belichick.
Yep.
So,
oh man, we got another one over here from my brother Brian Peebles, $1.99, man. Thank you so much. He goes on to say, he says, me and the lady had a ball in the A, man. I'm so happy that you did, man. He was at the Hawks game last night, man. So I'm glad you got to enjoy the Atlanta lifestyle for a little bit in the game. But yes, Smitty, man, it's we need to get on here, man. We had to get on here and talk a little bit about this. It's a little trending topic going on, man, and it's all predicated
let's go by 5 more minutes. Let's answer a couple more questions.
Let's do it. Yeah. I know Dre True Statement had a question in there. If you could get it back up here, please.
Okay. Is it capital letters so I know how to find it? Man, look at that.
I got you.
Okay, find it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's a good question too. That's a damn good question. Damn, what the hell happened? I can't find it.
I got you.
But he asking if Harbaugh Bill with anything less than a playoff berth would be acceptable. I definitely agree with that. If you're gonna go all out and bring in, more talent, better coaches, I agree. Playoff berth or bust. And I know he was 4-13 last year, but this Atlanta team is 10 times better than the New England team he had last year. Think about this. They were 4-13, true enough. But I think at least 10 or 12 of those games, they were in it at 1 score at the end. They almost beat Buffalo. They almost beat Miami. So they were competitive. They just didn't have a quarterback. Matt Jones was just as bad as Desmond Ritter last year. So I can't hold my head on the 4-13 record because I know Bill Belichick is a better coach than that. He worked with what he had, and he was another person getting out of contract purgatory. So you just got to think about things like this. So I think he'll be fine here.
Yeah, I agree, man. As we go and keep going on, let's see. Shit, man, I wish for this one right here. Watch Atlanta Falcons make it to the Super Bowl and win. Amen.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yep.
That is the goal.
Let's see if we can find something else. Okay, this one's for you right here from Bobby Means. It says, at Smitty, Jim Harbaugh, Terry Fontenot, and Jaden or JJ McCarthy would be a lethal combo.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm saying. He loves his scrambling quarterbacks, man. He coaches them very well. And I hear people say, but that was Mike Singletary's team in San Francisco. That's true enough to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, before Jim Harbaugh got there, they had 3 straight losing seasons. Jim Harbaugh's very first season there, I think, was 11-5, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, he inherits a team like this, I think, is automatic playoff berth. Because, like I said, the defense carried them all year. They could have made the playoffs, had 2 or 3 of those games went the other way. So, it just put an extra gear on the team.
Jay goes on to say, but hey, we got the highest paid guard and free safety in the league. Champ equals the championship. That will be balanced out. More, 2 key players that will definitely have a role into a championship sometime soon here in Atlanta for sure. For sure. Bags goes on to say, he goes, my only concern with Bill is that he likes things his way, as you know. Not saying he doesn't know what he's doing, but you can't disregard his last few years being unsuccessful. GOAT head coach, no doubt. To that.
But again, quarterback purgatory. Mac Jones didn't do nothing. Then he dropped Bailey Zapp, and he was just as bad. So, I mean, he comes in and get a fresh start with a brand new more talented quarterback. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Man, I just hope that, whatever decision the Falcons go for, with Bill or with Jim, well, it seems more like it's tipping in the cap or in favor of Bill, that the plan is solid. The plan is to upbring the city, the culture, everything. Winning mentality, you name it. It's a necessity here. Not here. I can't say here because I'm not in Atlanta, but for Atlanta.
And let me say this before we get out of here, man. Y'all don't want another first-year head coach, but yet still y'all don't want a proven championship coach. So if y'all gonna make up y'all decision on which one y'all want, just let me know. Because either y'all want a first-year coach and start over again, or y'all want a guy that can come in and make an immediate impact and possibly take this team to the playoffs next year. And then the year after that, you probably see a Super Bowl run.
Yeah, Smitty, that's where I was. That's where I was about a week ago. I'm like, damn, man. You talk about the Ben Johnsons, you talk about all this and that, and I've been proactive in saying, and you can attest to this. I'm not sold on these coordinators, these first year coordinators and such, but you can't ignore the success that they're having with their respective teams, and you just fall in favor for that, unfortunately. So I was under that impression. I'm like, man, do I want this or do I want that? So I had to take a step back and just like really think about it, man, and be like, all right, listen. If it's a veteran route, which we already spoke about, veteran route is the best route for this Atlanta Falcons team. I just didn't think in a million years, man, that the Belichick situation would be, here coming to Atlanta. They talked about teams like the Chargers and such, maybe Dallas if the position would open, but I don't think there's a lure right now to go to San Diego because they're in cap hell, and I don't think Belichick's going to want to go to a team that has no cap money at this very point in time. So, Atlanta becomes more and more of an attraction with just a few pieces away, and they have to play with.
Let me just say this. I understand most fans want Harbaugh because he's younger. I get it. But you got to look at the championship pedigree at the end of the day. That's what y'all missing out on. And I understand, with age just comes problems. But if he comes here and win a Super Bowl in his second year, what y'all going to say then? What y'all going to say?
Yeah.
Y'all probably still find something wrong.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Bobby, man, for me, my personal favorite is Harbaugh, and I say Harbaugh because of the way this roster is built now. It doesn't need a massive overhaul to fit a coach's style of play. So with Harbaugh coming here, you can definitely make some similar says to the linebacker position. What Harbaugh had in Frisco, Atlanta certainly has it here with size and speed.
Oh, trust me, I'm gonna be real with you right there.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna have nobody can top Patrick Willis and
no, never.
I don't see it.
Oh my God, nobody.
But I can see them bringing in another Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis. That's probably one of the best linebacker duos to ever play together. But I can still see them bringing enough talent. No matter who it is, Belichick or Harbaugh. They're going to bring in more talent because of their name. And like I said with Deion Sanders, just because of the name, they can bring in championship caliber players. So just think about that, man. Just think about it.
Man, so Smitty, that was a fun 40 minutes there, man. Again, shout out to everybody that popped through, man. We would definitely and very much so appreciate everybody coming in and sharing your thoughts and your comments, man. Sorry we couldn't get to everybody. We just had to get this out, man. We're on a time constrict right now. So definitely,
Yeah,
man,
we've been
we'll
talking about
contact,
this the
man.
last 2 days,
Yeah, man.
so we had to
Yeah.
let it out there into the public. Because trust me, when Bill Belichick or whoever is announced as the coach, we're gonna go live, give y'all thoughts, and we're gonna open up the chat so y'all can talk and get it off y'all chest. Because I know y'all want to.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
Berto, man, gonna take us out, man.
Yeah, man. So everybody in chat, thank you so much for joining us, man, on this little pop-up special on this Thursday evening, man. We'll give you a Thursday evening back. I know there's a lot of other, great content creators that are soon to go live and stuff like that. So make sure, you continue to support them like you support us. We definitely appreciate it. But look forward the tandem or the trio, myself, Chris, and Smitty, to drop more content coming forward. Pretty soon we'll be doing the draft profiles and free agent attractions for the Atlanta Falcons coming up. So that's a little sneak peek
Right.
of what's to come from the 95 North crew. So with that, man, we'll give you a Thursday night back. We appreciate everybody tuning in, man. So peace.